Hello there, today's video is the final installment in my series of one-ship squadron builds. The ship class I'm covering today is probably the most overlooked at the moment by Squadrons fans, but I think it could end up being the most overpowered. Let's take a look at the support class. What's up, JD here. That's right, today's video is looking into an all-support class build. I've seen a lot of comments and polls on websites like Reddit and Discord that put these ships at the bottom of the pile for most players, but looking into the builds for this video, I really think that a well-used squad of supports could end up being one of the most challenging forces to come up against. The support ships are of course the U-Wing for the New Republic and the TIE Reaper for the Imperials, both ships we've seen in the movie Rogue One. You're probably also aware that in this game, the Reaper is the only Imperial ship with shields. In fact, when putting these builds together, I have made them completely identical across both factions. So unlike previous videos, I won't be separating the video into each faction, I will go through both builds together. Also unlike previous videos, this video isn't just going to showcase two builds. I will still separate my builds into morale farmers and objective attackers, but I have three separate morale farmers that I think should be used in unison. As with all previous videos, I'll be using Reddit user TheBumbag's Squadron Builder tool. This is for consistency across the series, but prior to making this video, another ship builder was put together by Reddit user Javen. I shall include a link in the description, so be sure to check it out as it has a beautiful design and user interface. Additionally, keep in mind that the ship and component information in these ship builder tools was put together using the game changes footage captured earlier this year. It's likely there will be some changes when Squadrons releases overnight, so expect these tools to get updated in the coming weeks. Right, let's get on to the builds. I have put on the screen the default stats for both the U-Wing and TIE Reaper, so that you can appreciate the changes we'll be making. To start with, we'll look into the morale farmers. I'll go over all components other than auxiliaries to start, as it's the auxiliaries that will be different across the three. Right, starting off with our primary cannon, I would go with the standard cannon for a reasonable physical DPS. If you're Imperial especially, you might want to have one of your morale farmers take the ion cannon, just to deny the New Republic players their shields and disable players. For engine, I'm going to use the micro thrust engines. This will give your morale farmers more maneuverability at a loss to speed. This allows them to better line up targets in their sights, which is exactly what we're looking to do. For hull, I'm going with the deflector hulls. Similar to some of my previous builds, when you're in a dogfighting craft, you'll be repeatedly getting in and out of scraps. Having more health as shields enables you to recover the majority of your health between engagements. For shields, I'm going to choose the fortified deflectors, for the same reason as with hull. Extra shields are beneficial in this build. For countermeasures, I'm going to go with the Seeker warheads again. You are slow-moving crafts and you're likely to be targeted a lot. Having multiple short cooldown countermeasures will definitely be beneficial. Okay, so before we look at auxiliaries, let's take a look at the morale farmers' stats. These won't change based on the auxiliaries, so the three morale farmers will be the same in this regard. We have 1105 hull, 2400 shield, 91 speed, 101 acceleration, and 91 maneuverability. As you can see, we aren't the fastest ship by a long way, but we do have a great health pool. Our shield alone can take more damage than most fighters. We also have a very good maneuverability, which I think will surprise a lot of foes. You'll be able to pitch and yaw at a good rate and keep your opponents in your sights to get shots on targets, which is our ultimate goal with these builds. So with these stats ironed out, let's dive into the three different morale farmer auxiliaries and what makes them special. Our first build is our primary damage dealer. They should take the ion missiles as their first component. These missiles are great both for attacking starfighters, disabling them so you can get the kill, but also you can dumbfire them at capital ships to help out your objective attackers when you're assaulting. The next auxiliary I recommend with the damage dealer build has to be the targeting beacons. These beacons are devastating when used at the right time. When used, 4 enemy craft in 1,250 meters are targeted for your team, and for 20 seconds these craft will sustain 30% additional damage from all attacks. Additionally, they won't be able to use countermeasures to stop your missiles. When used strategically in coordination with your team, This will allow you to rack up morale very quickly. After each use there is a 30-second cooldown. When the cooldown has ended, I recommend setting up to repeatedly use this again and again as often as you can, to constantly be doing maximum damage. Right, our next morale farmer build is our area controller. For their first auxiliary, I'm going to go with the tractor beams. They have a range of 750 meters and a cooldown of only 10 seconds. When locked on and used, you will slow an enemy starfighter to a crawl. This makes the craft an easy target for your allies, but also, when defending, for your capital ship turbo lasers. Or for our second auxiliary, which is the turret mine. Turret mines allow you to place up to 3 stationary turrets at any given time. These can be used at all stages of fleet battles to good effect. Once the turrets are placed in strategic locations, you can start spamming your tractor beam to fix starfighters in place and make them easy targets. Our third and final morale farmer build is more general support. Their first auxiliary is the supply droid. You can launch up to 3 at once to keep your team topped up with missiles and at full health. This is especially useful when attacking, as it's a long way back to the frigates to rearm after bombing runs. The second auxiliary is the Squadron mask. This mask hides all allies within 750 meters from enemy radar for 20 seconds, ideal for mounting surprise attacks or covering a retreat. At the end of this video I'll give some example plays where this could come in handy. Right, now we have our 3 distinct morale farmers, let's move on to the objective attackers. For our primary weapon I'm going to go ion cannon. This allows you to do max damage to capital ship shields and subsystems when making your bombing runs. This can also be used to disable enemy starfighters for your morale farmers to mop up. For engine I'm going to go for the slam engine. As with my bomber builds in a previous video, I think this is a great complement to a tank build like this. You can set full power to shields during your bombing runs, yet continue to accrue boost so that you can make a quick getaway once the run is complete. For hull, I'm going with the reinforced hull. We want to maximise our health with this build so we can survive our bombing runs. And for our shield, we're going to go with the fortified deflectors for the same reason. For auxiliaries, I recommend taking the ion missile. This can be used to target starfighters during the dogfight phase, but also can be dumbfired at capital ships for an easy damage hit on their shields or subsystems. I would also take the ion torpedo. This requires a lock but does massive ion damage, ideal for attacking capital ships. Also, depending on how the supply droid works, I recommend having one of your bombers drop the ion missiles in favour of the supply droid. The decision maker on this is whether you can replenish another support supply droids with your supply droid. We know already that you can't supply yourself, but I have a feeling that we also won't be able to replenish an ally supply droids. This makes sense because if you can, then 2 supports with supply droids effectively means infinite ammo for your entire team. If you can do this, however, then absolutely do it. The benefits are extraordinary. You can maintain a consistent attack on enemy capital ships without any need to return to your frigates and resupply. If you can't, then the 1 morale farmer with supply droids is probably enough. And finally, for countermeasures, I'm going for the trusty Seeker warheads again. Right, now that we've put together our objective attacker, let's look at their stats. For hull, we have 2,720. For shield, we have 1,920. For speed, we have 104. And acceleration, 94. Maneuverability, 53. As you can see, this is a ridiculously tanky ship, nearing almost 5,000 total health. This means that we can afford to absorb some hits. Nearly 2,000 of that health pool can be overcharged or regenerated as shield, and the hull can be restored by a fellow support supply droid. We can also keep charge to our shields yet continue to build boost thanks to the slam engine. So if ever you get yourself into trouble, you can utilise the boost and micro drifting to escape. We take a big hit on our manoeuvrability, but because we're attacking capital ships, this isn't a problem. Now that we've built both builds, I'll bring up both sets of stats for the sake of a comparison. Remember that the morale farmers will share the same stats, but each offers a different benefit to the team by way of their auxiliaries. Speaking of which, let's dive into a description of an example play so that you can get a sense of how this team composition might be utilised. In terms of team composition, I would stick to 3 distinct morale farmers and 2 objective attackers throughout. When opening a round of fleet battles, I would start by allowing your objective attackers to begin the assault heading in a straight line to the centre field. have them fly in formation accompanied by the primary damage dealing morale farmer. As this happens, the other 2 morale farmers should make a wide approach to set up an assault from one of the flanks. When the objective attackers get in range of the enemy, the primary damage dealing morale farmer should use the targeting beacons to light up some targets and allow all 3 to dish out max damage. Be liberal with iron missiles once this is active too, as the targeted ships lose their countermeasures. At the same time, your flanking morale farmers should utilise the Squadron mask to make a stealthy approach on the flank to finish off any iron disabled enemies or players mounting their counterattacks. From this point, it's likely to turn into a bit of a furball. Keep the team supplied with missiles, turn on the targeting beacons as often as you can, and just keep farming that morale. Don't forget to utilise turret mines and tractor beams to control the area and hinder the opposing team. Assuming all goes to plan, you should be able to proceed. Your objective attackers should charge up their shields and make regular passes at the frigates, using both the iron missiles and iron torpedoes to completely strip the shields. Once the shields are stripped, then all ships can begin to make passes on the frigate hull to bring them down. Have your area controlling morale farmer stick with the corvette. Place turret mines to distract players looking to take down your corvette, and use your tractor beam as often as possible so that the corvette's turbo lasers can get accurate shots on the starfighters and take them out. If the bomber takes a lot of damage, then your general support can join them and use the Squadron mask to shield from enemy radar and retreat to a safe place to regain shields, and use supply droids to top up hull and ammo. Once the frigates are down, you'll want to repeat for the flagship. Once the flagship shields are down, then focus on each subsystem for maximum damage. If you do all of this, then it won't be long before you're flying off to the victory screen. The main thing to remember with this team composition is to make full use of the support's very unique auxiliaries. Don't be afraid to essentially spam them. The targeting beacons especially will help you destroy starfighters quickly. If the cooldown has passed and you have enemies in range, then use it again immediately. And there we have it, our cross-faction all-support team composition. Let me know what you think. Has this changed your opinion of the support class? Do you agree that support-focused builds like this could end up being quite powerful? If not, why not? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comment section. I do read everyone and try and reply to everything, so if you've got something you want to say, please do. Also, if you like this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Squadrons will be launching overnight, and I plan on filming a complete walkthrough of the campaign. If that's something you'd like to see, then be sure to come back for that. I plan to begin uploading on Friday night. In the meantime though, thanks very much for watching. I've been JD, this is Nerd Herd Gaming, and I'll see you next time.